Wonderful. It is Sarah, and not a fun topic today. Even within the work of toxic relationships, so often I find joy in life and light and strategy and all this kind of stuff in really difficult topics. Today is grief, and it's not fun, right? It's not supposed to be. And I use the word fun a lot in my life, and I think, is that fun? Is it not fun? How can I make things more fun? How can I make things more easy? How can I make things more streamlined? And it's a huge piece of my work, my life, who I am, who I want to be, my gift to the world. And grief has always been something I've battled against because it's a crisis to manage, not a problem to solve. And I really want to be pretty clear about the difference. And there's some crises to manage, and there's some problems to solve. There was on a group Q&A for the Wonder Woman, there was a lady who, she'd been married to this man for a long time, and she ran into him with another woman. There's a crisis to be managed within that. As she said, "Oh gosh, I'm so sad." And there's times within grief that the answer is to just sit with you as you process your feelings as they go through your body, and which is exhausting, right? Many of you know the reason I'm bringing this topic up is my stepson was in a very bad car wreck. He's back in the hospital now. The boy he was in the car wreck with actually died. Okay, so the last uh, 9, 10 days, I've been reassociated with what grief feels like, how exhausting it is, um, the feelings that come up with that, and how frustrating it is when there's not a problem to be solved. Okay. I'm a good problem solver. So many of you girls, we talk about smart girl syndrome, and one of the reasons you stayed in the toxic relationship for so long is like, I need to try this, I need to try this, maybe I can try this, maybe I can try this, and we just need to go to this person, I need to read this book, and then I need to this, I need to this, I need to this. And you kept thinking you could solve the problem of him or solve the problem of them. And I was again listening to an audiobook, and Sandra L. Brown, she's works with all these people who've had personality disorders. We have an interview on Wednesday, so I'm going through some of her work so I can ask. Oh, that's tomorrow. Asking her very educated questions about her work and what her work can bring to this community. And we just keep thinking that with enough love, with enough amazingness, with enough dedication, with enough sacrifice, they will be different. And the humility and helplessness and grief of realizing I can't work hard enough for them to have a different personality. I can't be so amazing that I transform whatever happened in their childhood. I can't be so loving and understanding that they no longer want to be selfish. Because in our brains, if you love someone enough, then you will change and adapt to be in that relationship with them and to make that relationship work. And so when we only see from our own perspective, we assume everyone else is going to do that too. So we think, oh, I just haven't waited long enough for them to change. I haven't waited long enough for them to be better. I haven't waited long enough for them to get them help. I haven't found the right words to say. I haven't found the right, specialist, that the right medication for them, the right whatever for them to be different so my life can be different. And she talks about in her book the how to spot a dangerous man, which is exactly one of the very first questions we address in the Wonder Woman program. And it's stop asking why he is the way he is? Because that's what we all want to know, right? Why is he that way? Why is he that way? Why is he that way? Because we think if we figure out why they are the way they are, we can change who they are. And we don't like to say it that way because it seems controlling and it seems like whatever. Trying to change another person, like we know we're not supposed to do that or want to do that, yet we keep trying it. Or wanting to change situations. This week there's a lot of situations in my life I have zero control over. Zero control over. Zero control over. And I don't have control over these situations, not because I haven't asked the right questions or found the right answer or whatever. It's because, one, there are no good answers, right? What's a good answer to death? There are no good answers. There's no turning back time. There's no, oh my gosh, if only I had. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. But as we go through the stages of grief, okay, which if you're not familiar with the stages of grief, give it a look. It's denial, right? Anger. Let me look up. It's been a rough week. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And let's look at toxic people. Okay, so we're in a relationship. We feel like we got duped. We thought the person was one way and they have a mask, and so they're actually another way. So first, deny. No, they're not really a toxic person. In the book, Sandra L. Brown talked about we're always finding loopholes. We're always finding loopholes for why our toxic person is different, why our toxic person is going to change. Yeah, I totally know scientists say that this is the way their brains are, and this is the way their personalities are, and this is who they are. But there was that Facebook quote that said, "Don't give up on the people you love," and that's a sign from the universe and God. And so I'm gonna not accept what scientists are saying, not accept that how people with personality disorders do not change no matter what type of help they get because they don't even want to change. I'm gonna throw away all that, all those experts, and that one Facebook thing that my friend posted. Don't give up. That's a sign from the universe that he is gonna change. Okay, you see how we go in that denial? Well, he's not really cheating. It's not really that bad. I'm strong enough to take it. Okay, and as I'm writing my own book, Becoming Toxic Person Proof, a lot of what I'm talking about, there's so much out there about toxic people, what they do, why they are the way they are, and there's so little about us that's not really codependent, or you're broken, or you have a bad childhood, or you have abandonment issues. Like, it's so brokenness led rather than strength led, and one of the huge pieces of the book and of this puzzle is figuring out strength led strategies for, one, how we got ourselves into this, and how to make sure to never get into this situation again. Okay. So then you have anger, right? Last week in my own life, I was in a lot of anger. Because of all the work I do, I get through denial pretty quickly because I work so hard on not denying the situations in my life or toxic people, or I work really hard at that, as you guys might imagine. But then anger, how dare he do this to me? How dare, you think I'm not worth it? How dare you this? How dare you that? And anger is a lot more motivating and powerful than denial. Okay? There's a lot of strength in anger, and in apathy or denial or checking out of your life or not caring about anything, there's not a lot of power in that. There's not a lot of energy in that. Now, we have to be careful about anger because it can be powerful and used to power over, okay, that's what toxic people are so good at doing. But anger does have energy to create movement in your life and to move you forward, move you into better situations and out of bad situations, okay? Bargaining. Another stage of grief is bargaining. Oh, God. If you, uh, save this relationship, save this person, save this situation, I'll give up cigarettes. I'll never smoke again. Bargaining with maybe medical professionals, bargaining with their mother, the toxic person's mother, hoping they can, you know, oh, but if I could just convince her that he's toxic, then my life will be better, my life will change, or the toxic person will change. Okay. Um, we use bargaining a lot in toxic relationships with like parents, family members, and the reason they don't have ears to hear is because then they would have had to admit that they were wrong too, or that they should be doing something differently, or that they need to take action, and they rarely want to take action. We think we can be so good at communicating that we can turn a mother against her son. That's why it doesn't work. You see, it's just like banging your head against the wall, which creates more anger and more frustration and more grief. Um, and a mother not wanting to see who her son is probably a crisis to manage, not a problem to solve. You want it to be a problem to solve because you want to not feel helpless in being able to change that situation. And I understand. Find things that you are not helpless in fixing so you can start to get some of that power back rather than trying to talk to people who don't have ears to hear, or it'll just be like banging your head against the wall. It's not what you want to do. Depression. If you're in a stage of grief with depression, anger has power, depression does not. It feels like the adrenaline has been sucked out of you. This is one of the craziest things I've ever done. This morning, I wouldn't say I was in a full out depression by any means, but the anger kind of bottomed out, and I was just sad. And I was driving by to the home office today. I was driving by a graveyard, and I actually pulled in the graveyard and sat there. And because I was not able to go to the child's funeral who died, it was very closed funeral, very quick, like within 24 hours. It's crazy quick. And I also had a cough last week and did not think I should go in the middle of COVID. Anyway, lots of reasons. But I sat in a graveyard today. And I just wanted to be around other people who were sad. I didn't want to have to be happy in that moment. I just wanted to be sad. I drank my coffee, listened to my book, and it was use the opportunity not to just like, oh, this is so horrible, this is so horrible, this is so horrible, but also use the opportunity. I'm really big on, okay, when my days are done and I am gone, will people say I lived within my integrity? I have one life to live. Am I acting in integrity with myself? Am I acting in integrity to who I want to be? Am I acting in integrity to the life I want to lead? When I get to this place in my life, will I have been happy with the choices I made? Or will I have lost years of life passing me by that I just let life happen, distract myself with alcohol or Netflix or whatever, or am I going to have lived on purpose? So it was two pieces. One, I just was sad. I wanted to be sad. I wanted some type of closure to the situation as much as could be. And reconnecting with me and reconnecting with who I am and reconnecting with life is short. Reconnecting with I'm not going to be around forever. Reconnecting with am I going to be proud of who I was when I was here? Am I making choices that align with my integrity, or am I just trying to do people pleasing and do whatever everyone else expects me to do? Or am I living a life where my purpose in life is to help other people be more selfish? Right? Because that's really what it is. So talk to people, oh, it's always about me, it's always about them, and we convince ourselves that we're like being a good person or being loving or being whatever. When you narrow it down, in many ways, we're just helping other people learn to be more selfish, learn to be more destructive, learning how to take less responsibility for their actions. Okay, so I held myself accountable in that way. And then moving into acceptance, which in this situation, I don't know that I'm in acceptance yet. But those, they can all come back. When you think about the stages of grief in your own life that were within toxic situations, it goes like this, and you go back and forth. It is not just, okay, first you're this, then you're this, then you're this, then you're this. Okay. And so to help move you into acceptance, the question I asked about, is this a crisis to manage or a problem to solve, can be very helpful. For instance, the woman who saw her husband with another woman, right? Ex-husband at that point. You know, is this a problem to solve or a crisis to manage? A problem to solve would be, would a good strategy have been, hey, I'm going to go try to talk to that woman out of being in a relationship with him. I'm going to go break them up. I'm going to post crazy things on social media so she breaks up with him. Okay, like that would be, that is a problem to solve. I mean, she could have said, okay, my new goal in life is to get them to break up. It would not have been a healthy problem to solve. Okay, because more so, it's a crisis to manage. It's a storm inside ourselves, that there's a situation that we cannot control. And when we go through those crises, we do need to have grace with ourselves, and to have kindness for ourselves, and to take it easy in some ways, not put pressure on ourselves. And both and conversations, not either or. You know, I don't want either or conversations, black and white conversations, dangerous conversations. Oh, you're grieving. You should just drink on the couch with Netflix. Yeah, you do you, girl. Just sit there and, like, that maybe you need an hour of that, okay, and give yourself that grace. But though I do, alcohol doesn't solve problems for sure. I want to make sure that's clear. But then also to a both and conversation. Also, what is a problem you can solve? What is something in your life you can control? What is a goal you have, so you feel like you're building momentum and moving forward in your life, rather than being overcome by a feeling of helplessness. In my own life this week, I cannot turn back time and bring that boy back. I cannot, I'm not a medical professional. I don't have a lot of control over my stepson's new thing. He's back in the hospital now. There's not a lot. I can't even go visit because of COVID, right? So there's not a lot of problems for me to solve in this situation that I can build momentum on. And so I need to find other things in my life. I need to have grace with myself, and I need to find other things in my life that I can control, that I can move forward in, that I can get back a sense of power within my own life when there are things that you feel powerless about, and things you are powerless in. So denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Okay, those are the stages of grief in any area that you're grieving. Yes, it is exhausting, and you're very likely to move back and forth amongst the stages, especially depending on how bad the situation was. Denial, get through as quickly as possible. Get past your past, real about your present, real about your present, real about your present. And I'm like telling myself that. I say that out loud. I think, okay, is there anything I'm not real about? Is there anything I'm not real about? Is there anything I'm not real about? And serious about your future. So that way you can be serious about your future. So get through denial as quickly as possible. Hold yourself accountable. Get good conversations in your life. Maybe your denial is thinking he's going to change. Maybe your denial is thinking, whatever in your life. Okay. Anger. My advice is to use the power and momentum of anger, but also to recognize anger for what it is. And very few of us make our best decisions when we're most angry. For example, I'm gonna take him for everything he has. I'll be in court forever. I want this. I want that. Okay, those are the bad decisions to make within anger, okay? Because revenge seems powerful for a moment, but revenge is your life still being about them, okay? And you want your life to be about you. That's the good stuff. Bargaining, oh, if you do this, then maybe you'll change, and if you do this, then maybe you'll change. We talk about the closure on are you really needing closure, or are you really just hoping that if you reach out to him one more time, it'll be different this time? Okay, I'll be bargaining with him. Well, if you stop talking to her, then I won't break up with you. Okay, that'd be bargaining, or bargaining with God or the universe. And then depression. When you're in a stage of depression, uh, reach out. I had a friend in this group who's also lives in my hometown, and she said, "Can I do anything? Can I bring you anything? Can I whatever?" And I said, "It just helps that someone asks. I don't need food or anything right now. That he's in the hospital and I can't even go visit. I'm not caring for a sick kid in my home, which I would take the food. But I was humble enough to say, I didn't say, no, I'm fine. I don't need anything. Okay. I really thought about it. What can I accept in the situation? What can she do for me? I really liked that she reached out and asked. I needed that. And I told her I needed that, and I told her to keep reaching out. Okay. So I wasn't in all my pride. Oh, it's fine. I've got this. Oh, no, you worry about you. It's no big deal. How's your mom doing? I didn't flip it. I accepted it. I accepted the help. I accepted the humility of the help and said, I work from home and my husband's at the hospital, and, it really helps when you reach out. It really helps when someone asks. And so many of you have been so sweet to ask, and thank you so much. But it helps that she asked. It's coming from a humble place, and it's feeling my feelings and accepting it. And as you think about ways to accept help in your own life, and then moving into acceptance. So hope that helps. I know that was a lot. I've been reminded of grief and reminded of what it feels like. Of course, I know what grief is and talk about grief and all that kind of stuff, and I felt it in my life. But it's always the way I make peace with things in my own life is okay, this is there's other women going through this. This is a reminder of what they are going through. Okay, this is a reminder of the feelings that maybe I haven't felt in a while, because life's been really good recently, right? So the feelings, I need to remind myself that they are feeling and connect with them in that, and remind myself of when I feel these really difficult feelings and I'm in my own storm, what tools I have to bring to the table, what helped, what worked, what doesn't work. Okay, so thank you for your grace in this, and I'm not using you for my own healing process, but I'm reminded of my humanity. This is for those of you who know, I've been in the Mrs. Tennessee pageant. I said, oh my gosh, 2 months ago I was like charting my stuff in the Mrs. Tennessee pageant, and then here we are here, and that's the way life is sometimes. And moving through those stages of grief with grace, and then having kindness to yourself, and also having kindness to let yourself off the hook. And maybe your house doesn't have to be perfect that week, but being very hard on yourself in accepting reality and getting out of those stages of denial and into acceptance as quickly as possible, without letting anger and depression and those stages tank your future. And being really careful about that. So hope this helps. Love you guys so much. And grief is exhausting. It is. I had kind of forgotten how tired it was to process all those difficult feelings, and it's exhausting. So take care of you. I'm going to take care of me, and send you all big love.